Today I am going to discuss about the serial communication modes. Um, in earlier days, there was a dominant data communication technique that was parallel. Parallel means you were transmitting more than one data simultaneously through parallel link. That means if there are 8 bits of data, then 8 separate connections are there, lines are there to transmit 8-bit data at a time from one end, let's say transmitter, to the receiver end. But there are several problems. Number one problem, it cannot be, number one is costly. Number two, crosstalk. When two very closely spaced lines are carrying electrical signal, these are alternating in nature. They will radiate energy. So this radiated energy will be coupled to the neighboring wires. So they causes crosstalk and noise. So that's why, because of this noise, data cannot be transferred to a longer distance. In order to overcome this problem, modern day communication technique is preferred is in serial mode. So that's why there are serial communication technique which I am going to discuss it today. I have given hints or discussed a little bit about serial communication in earlier lectures. But in serial mode, you are quite familiar with serial communication. There are several protocols, several techniques, and each have its own pros and cons, advantage and disadvantage. And I have seen what I am going to discuss only 3 protocols which are as per your syllabus, and I have seen that these 2 protocols are asked in mark out question papers. So the process of sending data 1 bit at a time sequentially over a communication channel, that is serial communication. What are the benefits? It is cheaper than parallel, can operate at a faster frequency. This is one of the most important aspect. Serial communication is always faster. Number 3 is synchronization difficulties reduced. So whenever you are transmitting data parallelly, that means you are sending data, let's say 8 or 16 lines, it's very difficult to synchronize all the data from transmitter side to the receiver side. So managing all lines simultaneously is difficult rather than managing over a single line. So these 3 are the benefits. You see this figure shows you are quite familiar with this technique. You are transferring data from one mobile to other mobile. That is a serial mode, but it is wireless mode and it is Bluetooth. You are quite familiar. And it can be divided into 2 broad categories. Number 1 is synchronous. Synchronous means whenever you are providing separate timing information rather than data you are transmitting, there is a common link between receiver and transmitter, common and separate link for synchronization. Synchronization nothing but you are sending a clock from transmitter to receiver. So you need a separate line for clock and you need a separate line for transmitting data. Whereas in asynchronous mode, you don't have any separate line for clock. The single line data, it is the data is stacked in such a way, they are organized in such a way, the timing information can be extracted. So we'll discuss all this later on. Synchronous, see this clock is there and you are transmitting data. So these two separate lines are there. Signals are specified by predetermined data transfer protocols. So depending upon the protocol, there are different types of serial data transmission. And also, asynchronous means you don't have any clock information. So there must be some agreement between transmitter and receiver. So agreement means the format in which you are sending data, the receiver must know the format beforehand. So before transmission of data, the transmitter and receiver, they are quite uh, they they were aware of the format of data transfer before actual data transfer. Signaling sequence specifying the beginning and ending of the signal. You are transmitting data, let's say you are transmitting 8 bit at a time. So start of sending first bit of 8 bit data, you must inform. Then whenever you complete transmission of 8 bit data, you must inform. So that's why start and stop bit concept is there. And the rate at which you are sending data must be informed. So let's come to actual data transfer. So this is what happening. This is our CPU. Okay, this is our CPU. You are writing a program in C. It is converted to assembly language. Then assembly language is nothing but machine code, machine language, and okay. So this is how it is done. This is your CPU, and this is microcontroller, and all these ports or subsystems are included within the microcontroller. So GPI, general purpose input output, and interrupts, timers, USRT. So under the USRT, there are three types of protocols. One is I2C or I2C, SPI, UART. Then ADC, DAC. So input output I have discussed, timers I have discussed. Now USART, universal synchronous asynchronous receive transmit. So introduction I have already given. This is another this is about the motivation factor, why we go for this thing, connect different systems together. So normally microcontroller is used to communicate with external world. So the data from external world is transferred to and from the microcontroller. For that purpose, the serial port or serial communication protocols are used. So it is between two embedded system, a desktop or an embedded system, connect connect different chips together in the same embedded system. Suppose your embedded system containing not only a single processor, there are multiple processors. So how you are going to communicate between them? So MCU to peripheral, MCU to MCU, without using a lot of I/O lines. So if you use parallel communication link, you have to use large number of wires. So large number of pads are there. This increases size and cost. and often a relatively low data rate, but sometimes at high data rates. So it may vary. So there are what are our options? Universal, synchronous, and asynchronous receive transmit, also known as USART. In the this is a common term. USART is the technique used to transmit, or it is full form of universal synchronous oblique asynchronous receive transmit. Number of wires required, it depends upon these factors. What, how many numbers are required? There may be, you may require 4 lines, you may require 9 lines, you may require 2 lines. So I have seen one question in your Macaut syllabus. They ask for a protocol which uses minimum number of lines. So minimum number of lines are used in a protocol that is called I2C or I square C. Now next question, what sort of communication mode? It is asynchronous or synchronous. Then how fast can it transfer the data? So depending upon all these questions, you are going to choose which protocol you are going to follow. Can it support more than 2 endpoints? Can it support more than one master? Actually, master and slave. So when you are transmitting data from one end to other, so between two entity, so one will control the other, or they can mutually they can control each other. So what is going to happen? So this is a deciding factor. How do we support flow control? How does it handle error and noise? So all these questions, who is going to answer to these questions, decide the type of protocol or bus you are going to use. Let's say this is our microcontroller. This may be connected to memory, output port and output port. So this is multi-drop bus. That means single bus is connected, single common wires is a group of wires is called bus. So same group of bus is connected to memory, output and output. More than these two. There may be more than this also, which all components are connected to the same set of electrical wires. In the general case, a bus may have more than one device capable of driving it. Bus structure is a common highway sort of thing. Through this bus structure in highway carries a large number of traffic in different direction. So the same concept is used here. That is, it may be multi-master, but as discussed earlier, multi-master because anyone can control others. So how it is done? Single bus, but it can be used by multiple users in a controlled way. The technique used is called tri-state bus. Tri-state means it has got 3 states. Normally in digital system there are 2 states. One is high, other is low. But here third state is high impedance state. So whenever transmitter is connected to multiple receivers, and a transmitter can communicate only one receiver at a time, since there is a common bus, when one is going communicating, other two must be stopped. How it is stopped? Other 2 or 3 devices, they will be in tri-state at the high impedance mode. So whenever a particular port is active, it will be in the high or low mode, and the ports which are inactive, they will be in high impedance mode. श्वेता, नेक्स्ट दिन हम तुम्हें अलाउ नहीं करेंगे. ओके. So this is a tri-state. So this is a control. if it is 1, then it will be either, you can transmit either 0 or 1. If it is 0, then this system will be isolated from this bus. So suppose uh, this is a CPU, and this is the common bus. So data will be transmitted from here, from memory to CPU, and using this bus, you will transmit address from here CPU to this memory. So this is memory interfacing. 0 address, 0 for address, and 1 for data. And now let's come to here. Device 1 is active. In that case, these two will be in high impedance state, and this will be low impedance, means you can transmit 1 and 0. So what are the pros and cons of this tri-state? Very common, fairly fast, pin efficient. Cons: tri-state device can be slow. Most common solution is Ethernet and PCI. रोहित, हाँ, ये कौन है? Who is this? रोहित सारिक कलम?
Sir, classmate, sir.
हाँ, अरे टाइम क्या हुआ? ठीक है. How can we handle multiple bus drivers? Say this is our master. Microcontroller is receiving and transmitting ADC, DAC. ADC means analog to digital converter. You are this ADC is converting analog input into digital data, and this is being transferred to microcontroller. And DAC is the output. The data from microcontroller will be transmitted to DAC, and the DAC will convert this data to analog signal and transmit it to, and it will be connected to analog some actuator. This is another. These are all slaves. That means these are under the control of master. This microcontroller is slave master. So it controls the data where and when and how and to whom. Where, when, and whom. These three, where, when, and whom, 3W, are under the control of master. Okay. So how it is done? Same lines. This is done through. This is the output port of output line of the microcontroller. This is called open collector configuration. That means this transistor is driving the total bus, but at the out, you see, it is not, collector is not connected to any power supply. So what happens, this is called open collector. Whenever you are going to connect this port with any device, you connect a resistance. So that's why it is called active pull up, or open collector, or wired OR. Wired OR means you go on connecting all this, they will be OR. If it is one, all this will be one. If wire is pulled high by a resistance, when you see this resistance is connected, this is high volt, so this bus is at high voltage, that is at VCC. This is also at VCC. If this is not there, this will be in the floating state. Okay. What are the pros? If two devices both drive the bus, it still works. Both are trying to drive. ADC and DAC both are trying to drive. Then it will be uh, it will be able to do that. What are the cons? Disadvantage: the rise time is very slow because you are connecting resistance here, and this is connected to device input pin of this device, and output consists of a capacitor. So the charging time will be high if you connect a resistance here. They're used in I2C and CAN bus. Okay. So first of all, we are going to discuss about UART, Universal Asynchronous Receive and Transmit. Asynchronous. That means there is no clock signal transmitted between microcontroller and other devices or a master and slave. Universal Asynchronous Receive Transmitter, hardware that translates between parallel and serial forms, because data stored in microcontroller is in parallel form, but you are transmitting it in serially. So there must be some arrangement which will convert parallel set of data into serial mode. So you need a system which is nothing but parallel to serial converter, which you have studied in digital electronics class most probably. Commonly used in conjunction with common standards. So this follow a universal standard. These standards are followed throughout the world, that is such as EIA, RS-232. This is a very common standardization. RS-232 means recommended standard 232, recommended standard 422. So what should be this RS-232? That means some standard is mentioned internationally. Standard means what should be the voltage level, what should be the speed, and what should be the data format, etc., etc. So electrical and mechanical specification all are specified. There may be RS-422 or RS-485. The universal designation indicates, recommended standard indicates that the data format and transmission speeds are configurable, and that the actual electrical signal levels and methods, what I said, electrical and mechanical specifications are standardized throughout the world. So this is typically are handled by a special driver circuit external to the UART. So this I am going to discuss. So first of all, what is the protocol of UART? Each character is sent as, character means a group of data. Let's say you want to represent A, B, C, D, all these alphabets. So they are represented by 7-bit ASCII character. A logic low is the start bit. Before you send a character, you start a logic low as a start bit. A configurable number of data bits. Either you can transmit 5-bit at a time, or 7-bit, or 8-bit. It is configurable. An optional parity bit. You can insert a parity check in order to see whether data transmitted or received correctly or not. And one or more logic high stop bits. At the end of data transmission, it is ended up with some data padding. Padding consists of called padding data is called the stop bit. It may be 1 or 2 with a particular bit timing baud rate. So 1 by bit rate, bit duration is baud rate. Bit duration, let's say 1 millisecond, then baud rate will be 1 kilohertz. So baud rate is 9600. Format is N81. So baud rate, parity bit is there or not, data bit 8, and stop bit 1. So then 9608N1 baud rate, data bit, parity bit, stop bit. So these are the two formats. So this is the format: start, then 8-bit data, and stop. You may include a parity bit here. This stop bit can be 2 bits or 1 bit. Okay. UART is usually a generic term that includes a large number of different devices and standard. RS-232 is a standard that specifies electrical characteristics and timing of signals, the meaning of signals, and the physical size of the pin out of connector, mechanical and electrical. So signal only most common, there are several signals, 9 signals. Out of these, 4 signals are important: RxD, TxD, RTS, and CTS. This will be clarified in the next slide. You must have seen this port, this mechanical port is connected. You must have seen this sort of port at the back side of PC. Uh, can you see? Have you seen it? Anyone having PC, just see the back side. You will find a connector like this. So this is called DB9, D-shaped 9-pin connector. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4. Upper is 5 pins, lower is 4 pins. Pin number 1 is not important. Receive data, transmit data, then data terminal radio, all these are there. This is given here. But see this one. This is transmitter and receiver size. DTE, data transmission equipment, data communication equipment. Data is transmitted from this side, is communicated to this side. This is receiver. So transmitted data, received data. Then this is a full duplex. So this end is transmitting data and this is receiving data. Now, before you transmit data, you must ask other side, are you ready to accept that? So you must send some data. This is sort of handshaking. Whenever you start communication, you said hi, hello, so sort of thing. So request to send data. So this will first send request to send data signal, then it will transmit data. Similarly, this end also send signal clear to send, then it will transmit data. So this is a transmission example of letter J, ASCII character. Okay. So this is the data. This is data stored. This is the let's say TTL level. This is the data stored in the computer. Now during transmission, see the voltage level is not 0 to 5. It is from plus 12 to minus 12. Say this is data latch enable. That means you are transmitting data. You are latching with device. Latching means you are now decided to transmit data. So first one is start bit. Okay, then B0, B1, B2 to B7 is a data bit. Then this is stop bit. Okay, one stop bit, one start bit, in between there is data. And see, it is inverted. If it is data is 1, then 1 means minus 12 and 0 means plus 12. So here the logic level is inverted. This is the protocol. Now this is the question. This will be given as your assignment. How fast can we run a UART? What are the limitations? Why do you need start and stop bits? How many data bits can be sent? Okay. The next is serial peripheral interface, SPI. What is it? Basic serial peripheral interface. Actually, this port is available in almost all microcontrollers. You may be familiar because it is in microcontrollers. So we are going to discuss capabilities, protocol, pros and cons, and competitors, uses and conclusion. So this is the master and slave. It has got SPI port. It has got SPI port. If you are going to use a particular protocol, that means you have understanding. Then both are having same sort of port. You can transmit from same sort of port from transmitter to receiver. Okay. Now, what are the lines required? S clock, serial clock, master output, serial input. I told you earlier also, master input, slave output, master output, slave input. That means master is transmitting data, slave is receiving data. MISO, master input, master is receiving data, slave is transmitting data. And SS, that means this is selection of this particular port for particular device. So this is your master, this is your slave. You are transferring data to a 7-segment, LCD display. Serial bus protocol, fast, easy to use, simple. Everyone supports it. A common communication protocol using 4 wires, also known as 4-wire bus, used to communicate across small distance. So it is not for RS-232, you can go up to 15 feet or 20 feet, but this is for very small distance. So let's say you have a PCB, you are having 2 separate devices, one is placed some end and other is placed nearby. In a PCB, in between, within a PCB, that is in a short distance, you can transmit data. It can have multiple slaves and single master. One master, multiple slave. One person, one master is controlling whole thing. It is synchronized. Always full duplex. Communication in 2 directions. So separate line is for transmission and separate line is for reception. The transmission need not be meaningful. Multiple megabits per second transmission speed. Transfer data in 4 to 16-bit character. You can transmit 4-bit or 16-bit character. Multiple saves. Daisy chain possible. Daisy chains means say output is the input to this, and again output from device is input to this. So if you want to transmit from here to here, it will come here, then from here to here. So similarly, CD-ROM from here, input to this data. So from here to here, here to here. So they are connected in a loop. So that is called daisy chaining. So protocol. So wires are master out, slave in, master in, slave out. I told you system clock, S clock, and slave 1 to n number of clock. Master set slave select. This is SS bar is slave select. If it is low, then this slave will be activated. So it will communicate now this one. So these lines are common connected to number of slaves. Master generator clock. Clock is there, the master generates clock. S clock is generated by master. Shift register shifts in and out, then data is shifted from master to the slave, or slave will shift data to the master. MOSI, master output, slave input, carries data out of master to slave, and so on. SS bar, unique line to select a slave, I already discussed. This is master. It will transmit clock first, so synchronized. Then serial data is transmitted. It will receive serially. And if it wants to again transmit this data, it will again transmit it serially to this data, to the master. So this is the diagram how it actually happens. SPI master. This is the microcontroller. This is one, two, three devices are there. See, these common lines are there. So these are the device select lines for selecting this one. So separate lines are connected. Select lines are connected to different slaves. But S clock, MOSI, and MISO are common to all these things. So whenever this is low, this will be selected. Whenever this is low, this will be selected. So this will communicate with this one, and so on. This is simple. It's quite obvious from the figure. So two phases and two polarities of clock, four modes. Two phases and two polarities. So there are four possible modes. Master and selected slave must be in same modes. Master must change polarity and phase to communicate with slave of different numbers. So whenever it is transmitting to different slaves, so phase or mode will be different. So this is polarity, high polarity. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the four modes are there. See, always it is reversed. So different modes are there. See the data, how the data is transmitted. See, in this case, there is transition of low to high, high to low, and this is again, this is one high to low and low to high. But the modes are different. See the how it is starting high, starting low, starting low. See, these are the four modes. And how the data is collected, it is sampled at the transition point. If it is high to low, it will be detected as 1, and if it is low to high, if it is high to low, it will be detected as 0. If it is low to high transition is there, it will be detected as 1. This is how it is done. So this is the timing diagram. So pros and cons. It is fast and easy, fast for point-to-point connections, easily allows streaming and constant data inflow, no addressing, simple to implement, everyone supports it. All microcontroller has got SPI bus. SS makes multiple slaves very complicated, so you need to have control signals to activate each and every slaves. So this is a signal you have to generate. So one to many, so you must have a multiplexer. You so decode which particular device will be activated, which particular slave will be selected. No acknowledgement ability. So whether a particular device is selected or not, whether it is ready to receive or transmit data, no acknowledgement is there. But the acknowledgement is there in RS-232 in earlier case. No inherent arbitration, no inherent, no within the communication process, no control data is transferred, no flow control, because only one person is controlling, so it is under the control of one only, that is master. Some serial encoder, decoder, converters, serial LCDs, and pre-SPI serial devices. So summary is SPI is a 4-wire serial bus protocol, MOSI, MISO, SS clock wire, full duplex, multiple slave, one master, best for point-to-point streaming data, easily supported. So this is all for today. So today what I have discussed UART and SPI bus. You may be asked a question to write a short note on UART or RS-232, or you may be asked to write a short note on SPI bus. So whatever slides I have shown, so these are the material to write short note or any question. You may be asked to write down the timing diagram or data format, etc., etc., or maybe how the data is transferred in SPI bars. So this question can be answered from this the material which I am going to upload. So with this, I am finishing it off.